Hey, welcome to Table Moments. I'm your home. That's not how that goes. Hey, welcome to Table Moments, the podcast beyond the couch. I think I'm changing it to that. I'm your host and captain, Iman. This is where we talk about anything and everything. We talk about crazy ideas. We come up with interesting thoughts and opinions, and we try to make them real in the world. And I think that's where I want to take this, the direction of this podcast. Because, like, I see all these podcasters, and it's like, I understand why they do it because it is easier than actually coming up with a video idea, writing a script, and recording the thing, shooting the thing, editing the thing, just to publish it with no guarantees that it will perform. Instead, why don't you just talk into a microphone? And so, like, I've gotten comments like that. It's like, oh, not everyone deserves to have a podcast because that's their insult to this. But it's like, this is more than just a podcast. Like, I like talking about crazy ideas and trying to pull them off in the world. Like, one of the crazy ideas I'm working on right now is a minimalist wallet. I've been selling this, it's about to cross 100 orders, which is crazy to think about. I started 3 months ago, which doesn't sound like a lot for 3 months, but literally in less than 2 weeks, I doubled the revenue from last month. And so that's how it scales. And so it's like once you get all the pieces in place, it starts being able to work out, and it's actually kind of working. So it's very cool. And I'm also learning a lot about the e-commerce game, and I'm also realizing how it's very hard to sell physical products. So that's why I like to rank entrepreneurs based on difficulty. And that's the topic, main theme for this live stream: doing hard things. Why bother doing hard things? It's an idea that I've been thinking about a lot lately, which I do a lot. I honestly, I don't know, people in my life don't understand why I insist on doing things the hard way. And a lot of people will not understand it, but to me, it's just why do anything unless it's hard? Like, I get it, easy. I don't know. If you caught me 5 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, I'm just like the rest of you. I want to do everything easy. But now I'm thinking about it like life isn't interesting if you're not doing hard things for the sake of doing them, not because of like monetary. Obviously, could be for monetary gain. It could be from whatever, however you define success. But I'm thinking about just doing hard things just for the sake of it because everyone else gave up. But if you see it has potential, why not try it? And so that's what I'm doing. And that's even the approach I've taken with this content. I remember when the first piece of content that went viral was January of 2023, literally last year, a little over 1 year ago. And it was a reaction piece where I was explaining the nuances of DoorDash and how this person who's complaining about their DoorDasher eating their food didn't really have the full story, or at least all the people who were judging it. And the video went stupid viral in one day. I think it crossed like 2-3 million in one day, or something crazy. And it was the first time any piece of content I put out there had actually performed well. And my brother was like, "Oh, people love your reaction stuff. You should do more of it." And I did a handful, but then eventually I was like, you know what? I don't want to grow like this. It's easy, and for whatever reason, when things get too easy, I'm not interested anymore. And so I decided, like, with this type of content and stuff, I wanted to actually learn how to make content, like actual storytelling, scripting, planning shots, all that. I actually, kind of part of me wants to be a filmmaker, I guess. And somehow, and that's the approach I took. And even though knowing that there's this easier path there of just doing reaction content, it wasn't even just reaction content. It was more like nuanced takes on pieces of content, but you still rely on other people's stuff. And I was like, no, that's not for me. So, and I mean, I'm kind of proving it out now, but even then, like, if I had just continued to do that, I would have been far more successful as far as the table moments is concerned on TikTok. But yeah, it is what it is. So I think sometimes it's worth doing the hard thing because then you figure things out that no one else has ever even considered before. Sweaty Nuggets, what's up, my friend? The stupidest stuff goes viral. Yeah, that is true. It's not even the stupidest stuff. Stupid stuff is easier to go viral because, I mean, think about it. A lot of people, if you had to put people in categories and counted how many people fall into those categories, would you say the stupid box would have a ton of people in it? And that's the problem. I don't think it's even a problem. It's what people want. And so that's the problem. It's a problem with the recommendation engines and what these social platforms have become. It wasn't always the case that only stupid things could go viral. But now it's not even that it's only stupid things. It's definitely things that feed vices. It just has to, because I'm actually going through the metrics of all the content I've posted. And there's certain targets you have to hit with your content for it to have a chance of going viral. Like this is why I think Instagram might be the best platform, because not because the algorithm will help you. It's because that if your content speaks to people, people will share it with each other. And so you're beyond the algorithm. I don't think there's any inherent way for that to happen on YouTube, or sometimes TikTok. I share a TikTok every now and then, but it's not as easy as sharing it on your stories or sharing it through a DM on Instagram. And so Instagram might be the sleeper, guys. If you're making truly creative content that speaks to the human soul, Instagram is probably the platform you should focus on, because if you actually achieve those things, those moving pieces, people will share it on their stories, and so you don't have to worry about the algorithm. But I don't know, like, and that's where I want to go. I want to be able to make content like that consistently. So far, I haven't been able to do it. I've done it a handful of times on Instagram, but something like that where people are compelled to share it on their own, that is, I think, the pinnacle of like good content. Now, obviously, the easier way to do this is just to like make people angry, or politics is also an easy one to get into. But I want to do stuff that compels people to share, but also elevates the human spirit. So if I can do that, I'll have considered myself a success at this content stuff. Right now, I'm not even close. But and this is the hard thing for me, and I think it's worth doing because it's hard. Like, I don't know. It's just I haven't quite figured out the words to describe why it makes sense to do the hard thing. I just know that it's paid off so far in certain situations. So, like, by doing the hard thing, trying to figure out how to make a piece of content, like getting 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 views on a video, yeah. I know to most people, it's weird. Like, I remember when the first time it happened on TikTok was like a couple of years ago or whatever. I was super excited. Now I'm just like, whatever. It is what it is. I don't know. I'm just like, well, who am I? Views are too abundant in my life right now that I can't appreciate I don't know. I can't appreciate anything less than 1 million anymore. Weirdly enough, it's just like, ugh, I'm one of those dudes. But even then, like 1 mil, it's cool on a new platform. It's not that it's cool when it happens on TikTok every now and then, whatever. Instagram is definitely more interesting, but YouTube is the game. YouTube's the game. And this one video about the $2 bill is still doing numbers. I think 8.8 million views right now. And if it gets 1.2 more million views, then the YouTube channel will have full monetization. That doesn't necessarily mean I'll start getting paid. It means now I have the potential to get paid through this, or at least make money through it. But as I've said before, like, all the media earnings are not, I consider it house money. Like, it's not for me to rely on. It's for the content, to reinvest in the content, or to put it into ventures, because again, you can't become dependent on the platform. And this is also another instance of me taking the harder path. It is easy to be dependent on a platform. It's easy to get audience captured because the platform and audience will reward you for it. People will get to see more of the stuff they want to see from you, and the platform gets to see you make more of the content that makes them money, which also gives you money. Like, that's the easier path. No, I'm not doing that here. I'm not. And I know it's crazy, but I think if I pull this off, I can prove something. Not necessarily to me, but to the world, actually. Like, you don't have to compromise your values to be a content creator, or you can speak freely and make a living off of this. That's the goal. Like it, and not that I would necessarily make a living off of this directly, but the fact that if I can build the tools, so that's where this e-commerce place comes in. Like actually, content creators should be consider making their own products, like, and then I don't know, yeah, making their own products so that they can have a livelihood outside of the platform. Like Mr. Beast, you can say he's the best YouTuber or whatever, but like the guy and Mr. Beast are like intertwined. YouTube and Mr. Beast are intertwined. He cannot leave YouTube. I know he's trying to with Amazon. I don't know if it's going to go that well because things are different. Amazon Prime viewers are not the same as YouTube viewers. Like, like Amazon Prime. If he launched the show on Twitch, it would make sense because his audience is largely a young audience, and Twitch is owned by Amazon. But I don't imagine a lot of young people going to Amazon. They'll watch the show, but young people don't got money. Like the whole point of entertainment is to get people to buy and purchase, and that's why advertising exists. That's why shows even exist in the first place, to push ads or payment subscription. So I don't imagine people buying a Prime membership to watch Mr. Beast's show on Amazon. I don't imagine people, his audience, having money to spend on Amazon. They're probably on their parents' Prime account, so it doesn't add anything to Amazon as far as they're concerned. Like, I don't get it, but whatever. We'll see. We'll see if he takes a different approach, because I know he's like heavy into the metrics and stuff. By the way, for YouTube metrics, I think if you want a video or at least a short to do well, you have to go get over 70% watch time by the 30-second mark. There's a reason why they show these like metrics in the analytics. I think the 30-second mark is a really important thing, over 70%. But yeah, and then I posted a video on TikTok today where I was explaining how there's certain these values you sort of have to reach on a piece of media for it to do well. Everyone knows the 10% rule, where you have to get 10% likes to watch ratio. That's true for TikTok. On Instagram, you can get it. It just needs to be above 5%. So just take the number of watches that the video has, chop off the last digit and divide it by 2, and that's the number you have to at least meet. And then for YouTube, it might actually be 2%. I don't know. I don't have enough data to make that conclusion, but I'm thinking that might be the case. Let's talk about updates, wallet updates. Approaching 100 orders, so that's cool, on Shopify, and literally doubled the revenue for this month. Or I reached in 2 weeks the same. Okay, let me say that again. In 2 weeks, I've gotten more revenue than I did in the last month. So it's accelerating. Which is cool. I also upgraded the printer so I can actually print out the packaging faster, 10 at a time versus 1 at a time. And I'm reaching a point where I'm going to have to engineer my way out of this impulse sealer. And so that might be an interesting project. And then, yeah, it's going well. And then also watch bands, considering including these as a Father's Day bundle. Wallet, watch, could be cool. Consistently getting orders per day, so that's cool. And then the Shopify app is taking longer to build than I expected, but I definitely see a need out there, not just for me, but for anyone else who sells low price, thin products that can fit into an envelope. This week I posted a video about the science of flotation, Archimedes principle. Simple hack to increase your flotation is to increase your volume in some way, and not as much as you need from a pool noodle. You could use buoyancy shorts or neoprene, and it could be a product idea maybe one day. I talked about topic selection. So I've been cutting up some of these live stream clips and posting it onto the YouTube as individual videos. I don't know. I just got to sit down and start like writing full length scripts, but I haven't gotten around to it, and I just haven't been inspired to do it. But that's coming soon. But I've just been posting that in the meantime. And then, yeah, the topic for today is why do hard things? And yeah, I don't know if I have anything more to say before inviting the TikTok people, but yeah, let's do it. And I still have to stream because I don't think TikTok actually has stream keys available for Mac. Streaming Oh yeah, TikTok ban or whatever. I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of those videos pop up where a lot of people worried about where their revenue is going to come from. Just like you got in bed with one of these platforms. I don't know. It just seems so short-sighted to trust any of these social platforms. And yeah, I know it's easy to say just be active on multiple platforms, which is a hard thing to do, by the way. It's very hard. But I mean, like, you can't be dependent on people who are going to switch up on you. I don't know. I posted a video talking about like how you can't change people. I'm not saying you can't trust people, but I mean, now we trusting corporations? I don't know. That's crazy to me that content creators actually put themselves in positions like that. Like, I made some money from TikTok. I'm not living off of that. Hell no. It's like, that's the trap. And came up with this idea that YouTube, they give you handcuffs. First, it starts with the silver handcuff when you get to 100,000 subscribers. And you have to order it yourself, by the way. It looks like a play button. And then when you get to 1 million subscribers, they give you a gold handcuff. And then when you get to 10 million, they give you a platinum handcuff, and then you're kind of stuck there forever. It's a trap, guys. It's always a trap. Always a trap. It's my position, and I'm sticking to it. I don't know. People don't get it. It's just like, oh, God, whatever. It's crazy to me. All right, let's get these guys on TikTok. The two, if you guys can see it, just barely. Cool. And then if you guys have anything to say, you just feel free to ask me any questions. But I like the theme of like, if JFK was alive today, where people would not be messing with this speech at all. They'd be like, do it because it's hard? Get out of here. Get out of here. Why would we do hard things? The only people who care to do hard things these days are usually people in Silicon Valley. But even then, a lot of them don't want to do hardware plays, which is the thing that really pushes humanity forward. That's what sets Elon apart. Like, I don't understand why he gets so much hate, because he's the only one working in like I mean, there are a bunch of people who work in hard tech. They just don't have the attention. But of all the people who have attention, Elon's like, yeah, he's really pushing for this stuff. Which that's how you change the world, by actually like physically changing it, not by pushing some software out there and then calling yourselves billionaires because you have a bunch of attention. It's crazy. Hey, Amy, Elias. I am broke. Okay. Anthony Barber, Artist M, what's up? T1078, Sasquatch, what's good? The Dancing Trucker, that's an interesting username. Dancing for Smiles on Tour, interesting. Thanks for the like. I am broke, or Elias. I have a friend named Elias. Or do you say Elias? I watched the Book of Eli a few weeks ago, and I don't know if that movie makes much sense to me. I thought it made sense before. I don't know if it makes sense to me now, but Dank Desi, what's good? Serena Babes, Alex, Boutique. You got a boutique? What's good, everyone? We're talking about why would you bother doing hard things? Why do hard things? I don't know. It's just like, I think there is this disease of laziness. I'm not saying you have. I usually think I'm a lazy guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm a lazy guy, but I just think like people scoff at the idea of doing something difficult, and it just blows my mind. It's just like, you're bragging about how lazy you are. I don't brag that I'm lazy. Like, I don't brag. Why would you brag about how lazy you are? It blows my mind. I remember like a lot of people growing up too, I would hear this when people were like, oh, that's too hard. People say that to me. I'm just like, do you even realize how you sound? We're talking about doing hard things, but it's a welcome to Table Moments, the Homies podcast. We talk about anything and everything, but no politics. And the conversation just goes anywhere. But I've been focused on this idea of like doing hard things. Like, why? And for whatever reason, I've been living my life that way. I was trying to do difficult things just for the sake of like, it makes life more interesting when you actually accomplish hard things. I think a lot of people, especially younger people, just want easy stuff. But it's like, if it comes easy, it goes easy too. So I don't know. I'm still debating with myself, because I see the easy path all the time. I just don't take it. Like all the time. Like so that's what are your thoughts though? It's 3 p.m. where I live. Okay. All right. Yeah. So like when it comes to content and stuff, are super easy. I know I could get views. I choose not to do it. And it's like I was even thinking about this today, like even leaving money on the table, knowing full well that you could make it and choose not to, because it would compromise your character. And like I don't think if people do not consider enough how they make their money, because it will change you. It will change you. I don't know. It's like no wonder. I don't know. You wonder how people can switch up so quickly, especially like, oh, when you make your money from social media, now it's like you're hawking anything and you're careful about what you have to say because your money and your livelihood depends on it. If you're, I don't know, it's everywhere, man. People are not careful how they make their money, and then they wonder why they're a shell of their former selves, or they've given up who they used to be. It blows my mind. But, I guess money. This is why I posted that $2 bill video. That's probably a lot of you guys on YouTube. That's where you guys came from. Blew up on YouTube because of one short, right? Where I talk about $2 bills here. And even now, just showing it, I bet you, if I just keep this on screen, people will watch it. I made this, and some of you probably saw it here, but I made this $2 bill video to show that it's just money. It's just paper. I would burn it, but I have to check the laws. I don't know if I want to catch myself breaking a law on camera. If I could, I would. If it's okay, I might consider just burning it, or burning money just as a sort of reminder to people what this actually is. It's just paper. Hey Reese, what's good? What's good? 3-time state qualifier, 1-time state placer. Wrestling, I presume. Yeah, so it's just, man, I don't know. People don't like doing hard things anymore. And here's the thing, I actually think about this every now and then about engineering, or at least the engineering what people were able to engineer, like actually in the world. Like the engineers back in the day were definitely way smarter than they are now. Way smarter, because they had less and they were able to do more. It's crazy to me. Like you ever look back in history and just like, wow, look at all the architecture. How long did it take them to build? Like 2 years. It's just like, what? They built that building in 2 years? Do you know the average building in New York City probably takes like closer to a decade to actually construct? And it's just like, how? What happened, man? And I think The War Within gives a really good explanation for this. He's on TikTok. He's explaining like people are naturally getting dumber. And this is like the natural path of humanity. We are getting dumber. And so it kind of blows my mind that people are like, oh, AI, it's going to like, no, AI is going to make us dumber, guys. It's a trap. It's a trap, but whatever. I don't know. And it's funny too, because like I even know people who like use ChatGPT to send emails and stuff regularly. And I'm just like, I even posted a video here on TikTok where I was explaining like, you realize you're having ChatGPT write your emails for you. You're sending it. So they don't know how you actually sound. And then they're probably going to be incentivized soon enough to use ChatGPT to write their email. So they'll be sending it to you. So you both don't sound like how you actually do to each other. And so if you guys ever meet in person, you guys are going to sound hella dumb. And so it's just like, what? And the whole point, and then, I don't know, I guess students are using ChatGPT now to like write essays and stuff. The whole point of actually writing an essay is not the essay itself. It's to learn how to gather information, to put it in a coherent way on a page, to learn how to pace and structure your writing to communicate a message. That's the point of writing the essay. It's not whatever. People are, I don't know. It blows my mind. True that. People are getting more lazy. For sure, dude. Here's the thing. I don't mind. Here's the thing. Laziness can be a good thing. It has its benefits in spaces where if the person has skills and they don't care to do something the hard way, they will figure out a smarter way to do it. But you have to get to the point that you're competent enough to be able to find the smart way to do it. And that's the part where I think people are just too lazy to even figure it out. So that's the part. It's just a shame. So that's why it's just like, I don't know. It blows my mind, man. It blows my mind. And so I hear this, whenever I hear this around me, I'm just like, I cringe inside when people say things are too hard. I'm like, what do you mean it's too hard? It's like, no, no, no. Oh, no, no. I cringe when people say it's too much work. I'm like, yo, do you realize it's like, wait, it's too much work to, and usually it's something like easy. It's something relative, like work, real work, like hard work is like roofing in the middle of July. Okay. Hard work is pounding the pavement, doing door-to-door sales, 5 hours, 6 hours a day in the hot summer, standing all day, getting rejected constantly. That's hard work. Like sitting at your computer trying to figure out how to like code something or like write emails or call people, whatever. That's not hard work. Making content is not hard work. This is why like even the streaming drama where, I don't know, some people were talking about like streaming's hard work. It's like, no, it's not. You can't say, I don't know, man. And it's funny watching all these like young people make stupid amounts of money streaming and all the drama that happens. It's like a soap opera, guys, except it's a bunch of young guys with stupid amounts of money. And all they do is just talking to a camera and try to make it interesting to watch. And apparently, I guess people subscribe to these guys, which blows my mind even more because it's like, why are you giving them money? Like, they're literally flaunting their wealth in front of your face and you're subscribing to them. I don't know. That's crazy. It's no crazier to me than like those mega donor or those prosperity gospel preachers who are like, give us all your money. And then they're flashing and flaunting all the nice suits, the jets and stuff. I'm just like, wait, it's the same thing, except I guess the streamers are actually honest about the whole thing though. But it blows my mind. I don't know. Like, am I crazy here? I feel like I'm crazy, dude. It's just like I do things differently and just people don't get. This is the thing I like about Table Moments. The people who seem to be attracted to the content I've been putting out here are like me. Okay. So it's like, yes, there are others of us out here who aren't interested in all the mainstream BS. Okay. And so it's like, I'm making a home for us, guys. And that's why I call myself the captain. I actually, yeah, if you guys see it here, captain of Table Moments. I know it's reversed, but like, let's see if I go right there. You can't see it, but whatever. It's blown out. But basically, I use the captain term because it's a sense of responsibility. It's a sense of responsibility. The captain goes down with his ship. So that's how I feel about this stuff. Like the last person to leave off this boat is me. Are you a college dropout? I am not. No, I wish. No, I don't wish it, but no, I'm not a college dropout. And it's nice to see you here, startup bro. Micro celebrity satire content. Yeah. No, I studied engineering in school. Yeah. And then I went on to get a master's degree for fun. People don't get, I remember having this discussion with my brother. It's actually a clip, one of the clips that might be pinned on this page where I talk about, I got a master's degree just because I felt myself getting stupider while working. So, give me your beard now. It's not. I guess the beard looking good right now. I guess. Do it curve? I wonder if it curves for most guys. Mine does curve enough, and the curve is a nice curve. That's all I'm gonna say. Does it curve though? Yeah. Plan B. All right. A master's degree for fun is great. No, it's not. It's not crazy. I mean, my employer was paying for it. So it's not like I came out of pocket for it, though. A slight or a hook? A slight. Actually, it's weird that we're talking about does it curve. I actually have a script prepared to talk about how, I don't know if I can even say the word. I'll say it once. Condoms. They're probably too small for you. And legally. Actually, they're legally too small for you. And I wrote this whole script. I haven't gotten around to recording it, but basically, like condoms are governed by the FDA because they're considered medical devices, and the FDA references the American Society of Testing Materials for rubber, or that's what they're made out of. Latex is a rubber specifications specifically for contraceptives, and there is a maximum thickness that, or a dimension. There are maximum dimensions for condoms sold in the U.S. And so, like, they are likely too small for you because they are actually smaller than, they're actually even the ones in the gold wrapper. And that was the whole point. That's the hook for that video, basically explaining, like, yeah, the gold wrapper ones are not bigger. And you can even tell on their website. They're bigger than their other lines, but they're sized for the average man. They're sized for the average man, so it's all marketing. Extra school sounds like masochism to me, but then again, to each his own. I don't know. I think if school wasn't such a terrible experience for people would enjoy learning. For me, it was just like working was so boring, and like there was no mental challenge to it at all. So I was like, hey, I'm here, school, my job was going to pay for it. Even the school, they waive the application fee. They waive the testing requirements and everything, because they're like, yeah, if you work at this place, you're probably smart enough to attend this school. So they're like, yeah, we just accept everyone who comes from there. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll just take classes at night and learn a bunch of stuff. Actually, it was really, I think it's worth it just for it was just mental stimulation. That's all it was to me. I've actually never seen what the degree looks like because I didn't care. I just had it sent to my parents because they care about the piece of paper so much. So that's what I did. That's why I go raw, Unc. Good for you, bro. The golden ones are weirder. The golden ones? Wait. Oh, yeah. Are wider? No, they're wider than no. If you look at it, the dimension, the maximum dimension, I think, for the gold, and it's measured at the base is 57 millimeters, and the average dude is 58 millimeters. Actually, if you want larger sizing, you can buy. There's this German company called My Size who actually, did you know, condoms come in sizes? They can't come in sizes here because of the ASTM standard, engineering standard for testing of this stuff. But in Germany, that's not the case. So this German company actually makes sizes much larger than the gold ones. If you need something more comfortable, you'll be surprised. And it got me thinking, like, maybe the reason why guys don't like using it is because it is uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable. Yeah, it makes sense to me. I bought some. The shape can be different, but they're not wider. They're not wider. At least not at the base, which is the dimension that matters for the testing. They can be different shapes, but 57 millimeters. They actually have it on their website. And then you can look at the average dude's 58 millimeters, which, yeah, it's supposed to stretch a little, but if you actually want proper sizing, buy it on Amazon, My Size. They actually have a bunch of different sizing. So, and even better, don't even bother with latex. Like, go with skin. Those are even better because it's polyisoprene. It doesn't have that weird latex smell, and you don't have to worry about allergies when you're enjoying time with her, you know? Skin does better. Skin is better. But yeah, I have that script prepared. Here's the thing. I have a ton of scripts, docs that I haven't even recorded videos for. And it's just like, I don't know, for whatever reason, I get in the zone, and then sometimes when I'm in the zone, I'm on it. But when I'm not, I'm not. And that's just how it goes. So like, that's that video. The other video, which I guess it's dope that startup bro, like why people in tech tend to sympathize with socialism and communism. And I think I have a theory on it, which might make a lot of sense. It's because in their world, it actually works. Communism actually works in tech because it's open source software. That's essentially how that works. The internet is largely driven and powered by open source software. So it makes sense that they would be sympathetic to this idea that people can contribute um, and it's collectively owned kind of thing. It does work. It does work. And so I was going to make this whole video explaining how communism does work in certain contexts when two things are true. One, it's voluntary, and two, the cost of reproduction is zero. If that can be true, then yes, communism can work. But that's not the real world, which is why it doesn't work in the real world. But who's to say the Matrix, the internet world, isn't the real world, you know? That'd be interesting. That's an interesting case. So I have that video idea. But yeah. And I know here's the thing. I always skirt the line when it comes to this political stuff. Cause like I'm making a point about how maybe I can reframe something that people believe is bad or that they would normally be against. But by reframing it in a different way, maybe people could be open to it. And I think that's the direction I want to go with the content. Actually saying things or framing things in new and interesting ways that people haven't considered before, so that maybe you can see where another person who disagrees with you is actually coming from. I don't know. I don't think enough people try to do that. People, especially in the politics world, man, people are so easy to say like one side's evil, the other side's evil, whatever. It's just like, really? Y'all wouldn't know evil if it was staring at you in the mirror, which is actually probably most of the time the case. And so it's just like, if you assume people are just want a better, obviously politicians aren't part of the statement, but like your average person who is a Republican or a Democrat or a Green Party, I guess, if those are people out there, everybody just wants a better life for themselves and then hopefully for other people too, but primarily for themselves. And when you understand that, and everyone likes to think of themselves as a good person, and if you take it from that point of view, then it's just like, all right, why are they saying what they're saying? And then maybe you can come to some sort of understanding, which I don't know if people care to, but you don't get to indulge in the wrath of like anger towards people if you frame it that way. If you don't frame it that way. But yeah. Yeah, so that's some of the topics I've considered talking about, but I don't know. And I'm realizing like when it comes to this live streaming stuff, I think I've been doing it for coming up on 2 years now of just like once a week. It's just like, I don't know, at this point, I think I have to like, I don't want to just talk about one topic, but it seems like that's the better way to grow. But on the other hand, it's just like, I like this being just like the podcast is, where we get to talk about anything and you guys can ask questions and we can explore ideas. And then usually I would like long-term this thing to be a place where we think of crazy ideas and then we go build them out in the world. And then it's like it all ties in together. And so that's my vision for this, at least. We'll see if I could pull it. I'll see if I could pull it off, but I think that'd be pretty cool. So like one of the ideas we talked about is Inspirecore, and this idea that you can make a genre of music based on podcast clips overlaid on instrumentals. And so it's like something you could listen to in the gym or while you're going on a commute or going for a walk or whatever. It doesn't necessarily have to be lyrics that people put a lot of effort into making sure it rhymes well. No, you make music that is good on its own instrumental, and then you add good podcast clips that match the energy. And so like it's a whole new genre of music, or maybe there is a genre of music like that. I'm not aware of it. And so it's like one of those ideas that's in the back burner kind of thing. And it would be cool to like actually like make it a thing so that people who do make instrumentals can actually pair with people who have podcasts. And so it's like the collective is actually grows the whole thing together. It's like the sum of the parts is greater, or the combination is greater than the sum of the parts kind of thing. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Like, I don't know if people realize like the individual pieces, putting things together can command way more value than just the individual thing. So I'm thinking even like simple things like e-commerce, selling a wallet with a matching watch band. The band itself doesn't cost that much. The wallet itself doesn't cost that much, but combining them together, now you can charge a lot more. And so it's like the combination of things can add in value that wasn't there. And it sort of reminds me of that Rory Sutherland idea where like people think of multiplication wrong, like 7 times 1 equals 1 times 7, which is not the case when it comes to like the human experience. Like 7 people experiencing a small amount of something isn't as big as one person experiencing seven times the amount of something. Even though the math would say it's equivalent, it's not. It's not. And this is also an idea that comes out of Nassim Taleb's book. And I actually thought about making a video about this, like dropping 1 ounce on a 1 ounce weight on your foot from 1 foot 160 times is not the same as dropping a 10-pound weight off on your foot 1 time, although the physics of it is the same. And so it's just like, actually, I don't know if but I'm just saying, like, there's this like weird asymmetry in a lot of the things in life, and people don't quite understand it. And I've tried to explain it to people, even when it comes to like when you're working on something, people don't understand like the beginning is always the slowest and the hardest and the one where you get the least feedback. That's always the case. Yet people think because you're not getting results immediately, then it just doesn't work. No, there's no difference between something not working and something just being early. There's no difference in terms of perception. You can't know, which is why you stick with it. And this is the advice a lot of people in like business or whatever, anyone who tries anything interesting or different, this is what they're going to tell you. It's just like, I grinded at this for a really long time and then finally found my lick and it just took off. It's like, yeah, and then they'll tell you stories about how everyone wasn't supportive and all that stuff. And it's just like, that's how it always goes. That's how it always goes. But and this is where like the impatience comes in. Like people are too impatient for results, or at least for things to prove themselves out. And so, which is why people like to take the easier path. I think this is like the whole tying this whole thing together. Why do hard things? Because like when you do something hard, it's going to take a long time for it to like get off the ground. And it follows a sigmoid curve. Like it's flat for a long time until it finally reaches that inflection point and then it rapid all of a sudden. This happened to me on YouTube. Literally over the last month, one video I posted I posted in February actually, is 8.8 million views. It's a YouTube short, so it's not quite long form there. So there's definitely more work to do, but I've been posting there since I started posting on TikTok. Same time I started posting on Instagram. For whatever reason, YouTube is the one that's been taking the longest. And then one video that goes stupid viral now brought the subscriber count to over 15,000. One video. And that's the nature of this like sigmoid curve. It's like, it starts off it looks like zero for a really long time. And it's hilarious looking at these like graphs. It's just like nothing for like forever. And then just shoots up. And then people are like, oh, you blew up. It's like, no. That's not how blowing up works. That's never how it works. But I don't know. People just, and I've explained it to people too, which is funny, but whatever. People don't get it. I just wish people had a little more patience, and gave the things that they're working on or whatever they tried a little more chance. I can understand not enjoying what you're doing. If you're not actually fueled by the thing that you're doing, then it's going to be hard to stick with it long enough to actually have it take off. But if you actually do enjoy it, not having results, I don't think is, at least in the near term, is a reason to not do it. It's not. And it's funny because like I actually saw a TikTok video where someone was talking about how creative people put everything, their like entire soul into their work. And he was like talking about a friend who ended up giving up on his creative passion because they put so much of this thing themselves into this piece of work for it to not actually have any reception with the world, which it's like, that's a tough position to be in, because on the one hand, it's just like most people would be like, oh, that's stupid. Why would you bother? On the other hand, if you don't have a creative bone in your body, you'll never get it. But some people have that gift, to that connection with divinity or the universe or whatever you want to call it, to like go and put work out there that is it's like inspired. It's not like they're directing it. They are being directed to make it. And so, and the little details matter. It has to be just right. And for people who've never done work like that, will never get it. And so it's so easy to dismiss. And so there was someone who stitched this guy's video explaining how his friend gave up on creative work because he basically put his entire soul into it. And this person was like, see, that's stupid. If you worked hard enough, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, they don't get it. Hey, Nasser, how's it going? Just talking about doing hard things and creative work. And it's something I've been working on a lot. And I don't know, do you have any thoughts on it? It's just, man, I feel for creators out here. And here's the thing, I have a technical background, all right? I study engineering. I worked as an engineer. I didn't understand creative work until I became one, or at least I like to think of my videos as sort of like, I attempt to put as much effort into it as I can. And if there's any time there's a chance to increase the effort, to make a little tweak, to make a small improvement, I do it even when I don't feel like doing it, because I know that's what the work needs. How am I doing? I'm doing good. I woke up from a nap like an hour ago, so I'm trying to fight through the haze right now. So if you're wondering if my energy isn't as strong or my flow isn't as smooth, that's why. And that's why I'm squinting a little, because these lights are really bright. How are you doing though? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Funny is interesting. I'll take that as a compliment. I think I'm funny. My wit is pretty funny in the comment section for sure. Maybe one day I'll just go do stand up just as a way to like practice improvisation. You doing good? Okay. Yeah. I don't know. It's Sunday, and I committed to myself to do this at least once a week. And Sundays seem like the best days to do it, but I still got to do my taxes. So kind of wish I had at least started those before, but whatever, I'll get it done. It's not going to be too hard, I don't think. Taxes are much harder or they're not much harder. It's just more effort when you've lived in multiple states in the course of a year. I'm not going to have that issue for this year. So that's good, because that's annoying for sure. We could talk about taxes. I thought about making a video about taxes, but I was just like, I think I made it last year, so I don't like repeating myself. But essentially, if you get a tax refund, it's your money, bro. It's your money. Don't be excited about getting your money back. I get it. It's money you didn't expect to have, so you treat it like a windfall, but it was your money. They took money out of your paycheck. It's crazy. So taxes are weird. I actually talked to someone, a friend of a friend, who is a tax lawyer actually. And I was having a conversation with him. I was like, so what's the deal, man? Why do we all have to do our taxes every year when the government knows exactly how much we owe and they take money out of our paycheck? So we're only paying a difference. That's what you're doing, by the way, if you didn't know that. When you file your taxes, you're not calculating how much money the government, you're not like doing the work for the government. The government knows exactly how much you owe. They know it. It's just, they take it out of your wages or not, depending on how you have withdrawal set up. And then you pay the difference. So you're not actually calculating how much taxes you've paid. You're calculating the difference between how much you've paid versus how much you owe. And if that number is negative, they owe you money. If it's positive, you owe them money. That's all it is, guys. And then it got me thinking. I was talking to this lawyer guy, and I was just like, why? Why couldn't it be as simple as we like fill out a postcard and then just like, oh, here's a check to the IRS? And I wish it were that simple. He's like, tax law is the way the government deflates the currency. That's how they deflate the currency. So when they collect taxes, this is one way they could do it, which seems like a very complicated way of doing it, but that's how they do it. But in the end, he concluded it's honestly just because people like him have to get paid. It's for jobs, guys. The reason why we have this annoying tax system in America is because of jobs, which on the one hand, it's just like, why? It seems such like it's so pointless. On the other hand, what are these people going to do if they're not doing your taxes, you know? Which is funny because like it's a very seasonal job. So like I actually knew someone who became like a tax preparer for HR and block HR block. Is that how you say it? Whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. And yeah, it's a very seasonal job. They train them. They're not typically working most of the year until the new year. And like from January 1st to April 15th, that's the window where they make all their money. Sort of like how Q4 is like where a lot of retailers make most of their money. Same thing. Where are your papers at? I don't know. I don't know where my paper's at. U.S. Border Patrol. That's a funny username though. Is that what you do? Is that your thing? You just go to people's chats and it's like, where are your papers? And then they get offended, so they block you. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know. I appreciate trolls. Especially when they have a shtick too. So I can respect that. I hope your profile, yeah, your profile picture makes sense. uh, it's like you stick with a theme. Trolls with themes. That's cool. I can respect that. Wow. All right. You know what? You know what I realized? It's so easy to get a follow on TikTok. You just gotta give people compliments. It's so easy. It's just like I don't need the follow, but I appreciate it. U.S. Border Patrol. It is, man. YouTube getting subscribers is hard. You really gotta earn those. But on TikTok, you guys are pretty loose out here. You just spread it open for everybody. It's cool though. It's cool. Instagram, yeah, I would rank it. Like TikTok is streetwalkers, right? And then Instagram are like Tinder people, and then YouTube is like Bumble. No, YouTube is like Hinge. I think YouTube might be the bar. No. Hinge. Hinge makes sense. Hey, have a blessed night, bro. I'm gonna go troll more people. Good. All right. Good luck, bro. Yeah. You too. Twitter followers and Reddit are the easiest, to be honest. Yeah. Reddit. Here's the thing. Like, yeah. Reddit is pretty easy. Except I don't like the community there. I don't like what it's become. Like I remember how Reddit used to be. It used to be like a really edgy place where, you could be free. Obviously, yeah, it depends on the subreddit, but essentially like, you could be free and say what you want and you could find your own community. But now I guess they're publicly traded, all the hate speech stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, it killed the site, man. Reddit was edgy. Yeah. Got too liberal nowadays. It's more than just too liberal. It's just too safe. I think they're too corporate. Obviously they were always liberal. They've always had a huge liberal bias because it's a company that was started in, I believe, San Francisco, and all that. And people on the internet tend to be more liberal, which makes sense to me, but at least you could be open to have free discussions with people in a subreddit that you were a part of. There were subreddits for everybody and everything. And that was the cool thing about it. But I don't know. It's just like, it's still a great place to find like testimonials and reviews of weird things or niche things. But man, that whole community building thing is like, it's just a shell of its former self. It's a shame because it's like, that's the value of like this whole social media stuff, actually connecting with. I actually had a friend tell me this once, and it's very insightful. The whole point of social media is to be social, right? You're supposed to interact with people, hopefully even build a community. But these platforms have lost the plot completely because they don't even let people build communities anymore. Because it doesn't matter if people hit the subscribe button or the follower button or whatever, they're not going to see your stuff. So you don't actually have direct interaction with people. At least Reddit is a place where you could have that. But even then, there's like this whole gamified thing of Reddit where mods and heavy users and stuff, and how there's this ranking system, whatever. It's just crazy how like the internet has lost its way completely. This whole idea of 1,000 true fans, so it's not a thing anymore. And it's because, unfortunately, these big tech platforms, it's because it's become big tech. It used to be an open standard. Like I've been listening to some of Chris Dixon's podcasts. He's a venture capitalist who focuses on the crypto space, but specifically also the creator space, and open or decentralization is his sort of angle. And he's pushing for this idea and investing in companies that are sort of trying to bring that decentralization back, because that's what the internet used to be. A lot of you might be too young to remember, but there were things like RSS that let people have a feed, one tailored for you, as that's what an RSS feed reader would be for. It would actually pull all this like content from all the things that you chose to subscribe to. And so it was basically, imagine a social platform tailored specifically for you, instead of just a recommendation feed. It was like you saw all the things that you chose to follow. And so it's like you had direct input in what you saw. Nowadays, the platforms have realized, I think it started with Facebook. They're like, yeah, we can make better decisions than you can for yourself. And they're likely right too, by the way. They know what feeds, what grabs your attention and keeps it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's what you want or what it's they make the conclusion that just because they can grab your attention is that it's also what you want. But I don't think that's true. In fact, there's a lot of things we want or a lot of things that we crave, that we're attracted to, that we cerebral in our heads don't actually want. So like, this is where like addictions and stuff can come in. And so it's like they've gaslit themselves into thinking they're giving people what they want, when in fact they're not actually doing that. And that's why you see a bunch of dumb content now. That's why dumb content goes viral, because it can grab attention. It can feed your vice, your human vices that feed that part of your spirit that brings you down instead of elevates you. And I've noticed on Instagram specifically, where when I make a piece of content that's like edifying, that actually teaches someone something about the world that they live in, usually physics related or science related or something, people really enjoy it, and it does get views. Or if I point out something that people know to be true that isn't being said, that isn't necessarily like pushing their vices or anything like that, but actually like looking at the world in an interesting way that they resonate with, they share it in their stories. And so it's like there is a craving for this stuff. It's just the algorithm's not going to help you, because that's not, at least based on metrics, something that can draw someone's attention and keep it for advertisers. Now it's influencers trying to make you buy things. I don't mind influencers making you buy things if it's things that they either use themselves or really enjoy themselves or make themselves. For instance, I sell these minimalist wallet. This is my daily carry, and I make these. I have a little mini factory here. So it's like the idea of like selling you a useful product that I've actually invented myself. Or at least if a creator invents it themselves, creates them, like a beauty brand. Like, I don't know why a lot of these beauty social media people aren't just like designing, formulating their own concoctions for the things that they use. I know there was that dude on TikTok who was doing the strawberry mint oil stuff. Turns out it was all like sort of cap. Useful is good. Yeah, exactly. Like, I remember making a video on TikTok and Instagram where I was talking about Bag Balm. It's like this, I don't know it's like Vaseline, but made out of this other stuff that helped me save my elbows from cracking. And I made a video about it because it was like something I was dealing with in the winter, and I figured that could be useful for people. And so I made a video about it. No sponsorship or anything like that. I just made a video just as a way, like, hey, here's what I'm using and it saved my elbows. And then people at Bag Balm, someone at Bag Balm actually saw it, and they're like, yo, love your video. Can we send you some stuff? I was like, I'm not going to promote your stuff if you send it. And they're like, no, we just like it. So here's some stuff. I was like, there you go. And I was thinking, like, maybe that's the way. Maybe that's the way. If there are things you already use, Put people on game. Put people on game. And you don't know who's watching. And maybe that's how you establish a relationship with brands. And I think that's a more wholesome and honest way of doing it. So it's not that they're just, and now I definitely see what you're saying, Wonder Girl. And I think you've been here before. It's been a while, but I think you've been here before. Yes. I remember the username. But yeah, I know a lot of people are just getting into the whole like promote anything because it's possibly free money, and that stuff. Yeah, it is getting tiring for sure. Seeing all these like TikTok shop ads and whatever, it's just like it's crazy to me. That I don't know, and I guess some people are trying to be honest about it, but it's like be selective about what you're gonna promote. Yeah, it's been a while. What have you been up to? Everything okay? Yeah, well, so I've been thinking about that, the whole creator economy stuff. I want to solve that problem. I think it's going to be a multi-pronged approach. One, sell your own products. That's one thing. Two is owning your own audience. You could do a mailing list, but I think a mailing list is a little too, it's annoying to set up, and I don't think people like getting emails. So you kind of have to do something different, I think. And then three, people funding directly, but not in the way Patreon does it, where people have an expectation for additional content when they spend $3 to $5 on your Patreon or even more. So what if you can somehow figure out a way for people to give pennies, maybe 10 cents to a creator per month, which is a hard thing to do, or at least there's no way to do it right now because of payment processing fees and Visa and credit cards and stuff. But what if there was a way to do it? And I think that's the problem that needs to be solved in the future. Bitcoin and blockchain is the solution people are considering, but that's going to be like a 20-year play. You have to convince people. I don't know, maybe 10 years, 10 years. But this is just a random wild guess. But I think in the meantime, I think there's a way to do it, but it might involve starting a bank. So it's like, if I'm going to undertake this project, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. But I'm thinking maybe that's something that needs to be done. And then if you can make creators and influencers independent, or at least somewhat independent of these platforms, or at least self-sustaining, then they can be free to speak. And then we get to live in a world where people get to be honest and they're not like shilling themselves to hawk products just for the sake of maintaining their livelihood on these social platforms that are very mercurial, which I also thought about making a video about. I used to work in the NYC public schools, trying to find work again. Been okay, thank you. You sound like you got a lot going on. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting into the e-commerce game with these wallets. This is a recent development. Started selling them this year. Cool thing is I use lasers to cut these out, which is pretty cool. And people really like them too, weirdly enough. Like, I've been, yeah, it's weird. Unfortunately, it's an experience good, meaning people realize how cool it is once they start using it. And it's not even cool. It's more like the functional thing. It's thinner than a Ridge wallet and carries more. It won't scratch up your phone when you keep it in your front pocket, like I do sometimes. And it won't aggravate your sciatica, like a lot of these thick wallets will do. And so it's literally ripstop nylon that is fused and whatever. And so it's just like everyone's been like super positive about it. I'm like, oh wow, I'm onto something here. It's just selling wallets it's a crappy product because the margins on it are low. But if I can pull this off, man, I don't think there's any business I could start that would be as hard as this. Because like it's e-commerce, it's low product margins, there's no repeat orders, average order value is low, and logistics and everything. I have to figure out efficiencies my own way, and it's a bunch of engineering involved. And I'm working on a Shopify app to help me automate the tracking information. So I can't even do USPS ground shipping because it would eat too much into the margins of this. So I actually figured out USPS Intelligent Mail Barcode System, which you see on like magazines and business mailers and stuff, but I'm using it for retail. And I'm packaging these in envelopes. Like, it's crazy. And I think it'd be cool to offer this Shopify app or even a website or something where people can generate these barcodes themselves, which the USPS actually offers as a free service, by the way. generate the barcodes, and then you can offer some sort of tracking information. Not necessarily like typical shipping, but similar, very similar, and good enough, I think. A lot going on. Where you been? You still down low? You mean Texas? Yeah. Sounds good. I think I've seen some ads for thin wallets on here. I haven't actually ran any ads on. Ran any ads on TikTok, but I've ran ads on Facebook, and so learning the whole Facebook ads thing has been really weird. Like, it's profitable, but not as much as I would like, which is what it is. I just got to work on my creatives and probably increase my budget for sure, but I'm at the beginning stages and I'm still figuring out the manufacturing process. I'm building out like a little mini factory. And I think this is an interesting idea. Like, the way to bring manufacturing back to America might not be building these huge giant gigafactories. I think they'll always have their place here, especially for like large goods. But like, what if instead of giant factories, we had a bunch of micro factories or pico factories or something where people can build in small spaces and still be able to fulfill a large amount of orders just by being efficient about how you use space, the tools that you use, and also building just in time. And so that's literally what I've been doing. Like, I don't have inventory. I have raw materials. And then when the orders come in, I make them. And I've gotten to the point where I can make one in 10 minutes. And with this printer that I just upgraded, I'll be able to maybe make one every 6 minutes. And then eventually I want to be able to make one a minute. And then that's when the margins I can win on volume. But I still have to generate the demand. So there's a lot going on here, but e-commerce is a tough business, guys. Especially like men's fashion, which is even harder because like men don't buy wallets. Typically, like, think about it. When was the last time you as a dude, any dude bought a wallet? The answer is usually never, because men are gifted wallets. So, oh man, unfortunately, the weird thing about this might be I might have to sell women on getting this for their husbands or boyfriends or sons or uncles or whatever, or dads, which I'm thinking about putting together a Father's Day care package. So it comes with a wallet. It comes with an Apple Watch strap, which matching is pretty cool. And then RFID business card, so you can actually share information, LinkedIn, whatever, when you're in person. Might be a care package, but I'm still figuring out this whole e-commerce thing. It's wild. The margins on this, I don't recommend an e-commerce business if you want easy money. It's not easy. It is not easy. Someone finally banned me. What did you say? Did you say, show me your papers? How do you say that in Spanish? You should learn how to say that in Spanish. Wait, English to Spanish. How do you say it? Show me your papers. No, that can't be right. Muéstrame tus papeles. And that'd be hilarious. You just ask people. That would be offensive too. Maybe selling them at events or something. Yeah, eventually it'd be cool to do. Like, I live in Austin, Texas, so farmers markets, and I mean, people here like weird stuff. So eventually, like, I'm not worried about in-person retail. I just want to make the finances of it sustainable through online e-commerce. And if I can do that, then every other channel I think will be easier. Maybe not easier, but just different. But I don't know. E-commerce, the finances, because of having to get attention, costs money. Like, I think this is the problem with like all these vendors on TikTok. They are getting a bunch of free attention. And that free attention means their business might not be sustainable without it, which means they don't have a sustainable business. And so it's like sometimes slowing down and figuring it out. I think that's what business is, where you make it work, understanding all the variables. If your business can only work because you have these advantages that you're not in control of, then it's only a matter of time before you go out of business, because things change. Now, this is even true with like even doing Facebook ads, which is what I've been doing. Like, Facebook ads will just become more expensive over time. They will. So the only way for me to grow right now, I think in the long term, is not through Facebook ads, which I think will always be a part of it, but I think it's through word of mouth. people using it. Like I said before, this is an experienced good. People use it, and once they use it, they realize how much better it is than their old wallet. And then they will tell their friends. And I do things in the packaging and the things I include in there to sort of incentivize people to talk about it. So one of the things I actually do with these packages is I include a $2 bill. I include a $2 bill with the wallet, and it gives me bragging rights because it is literally the only wallet on the market that comes pre-installed with money. And the cool thing about a $2 bill is it has a higher perceived value than just $2 because it's a novelty item. It's not something you run into a lot. And so like I'm hoping in the long term, when I have enough of a base of people using it, enjoying it, talking about it, that it will result in sales in the long term through word of mouth. Because that's the only way, that's what I'm thinking. So, and people enjoying it too. And I'm always constantly looking for upgrades and ways to improve it. And then also the marketing stuff, I can also work better. I was thinking about making an ad sort of like the Dollar Shave Club ad guy. It's like, we use fucking lasers to make these wallets or whatever. Sorry for the cursing. I said, be there after we deal with the others because he told us to go get him. I'm not sure I understand. I said, be there after we deal with the others because he told us to go get him. I'm not sure what that means. Word of mouth always more influential than ads. Yeah, in fact, word of mouth is the hack to anything that's public facing. I don't know if people realize that. Like the reason some of my videos on Instagram did stupid numbers was because people were sharing it with each other. People were sharing it not only directly to each other, but in their stories. And like you do not need to run ads if you have amazing word of mouth. And it is more influential because the opinions of friends, like that's why even like with influencers and stuff, like you sort of have a parasocial relationship with someone online. And so when they're talking about their product, the hope is that their influence on you, the viewer, can influence the purchase of that product. Now, when it goes too far and people just start promoting whatever for whatever reason, then it devalues the whole relationship. But in this case, I make these myself. So if you're in the market for a wallet, consider this. But it makes sense to some people, and some people actually got it for gifts for gifts for other people. And the reviews came in and they're great. And so I'm just like, all right, cool. This is very cool. So I like that. I like that people actually enjoy something I've made. And there's something wholesome about like making something for the world and they really enjoy it. And then you've heard nothing but positive things. So that's cool. So that's the plan. Figure out this whole merch thing for the creative space, figure out the software stuff, so that people can own their audience better. Figure out a way for people to easily support the creators that they enjoy. So this idea, I've talked about it before, where the Netflix of you. So the way Netflix works, they collect all these monthly payments from all their subscribers, and then they decide how to spend that money on licenses for content or making their own original content, and then distributing it to their viewers, then getting the metrics back to see what might be interesting to make more TV or movies out of, or stories. And so there's this like indirect relationship between what you enjoy and you actually paying for it. And so what if instead you could support the things that you actually enjoy directly and in an easy way, in a very affordable way? Let's say instead of a $9.99 Netflix subscription, it's a $9.99 creator subscription. That $9.99 gets divided among all the people that you subscribe to or follow across platforms easily. And so it could be 100, 200, 300 people all get that your $10 divvied up between all the creators that you follow. And so you get to support people that you enjoy. You get to. And creators get to have some income directly from their audience. And so you cut out the middleman, which is usually these platforms. That's what I'm thinking. But you can't do that directly because it is a two-sided marketplace, meaning you have to get viewers on a platform like that, or it has to be, or collect information or interact with it in some way. And you have to get creators on there too. And so it's like two different audiences at the same time is a very hard thing to do. So I think in the near term, you have to figure out probably creators first. And so that's where the insurance, or at least the mailing list or something simplified for creators. Because it's like a lot of people are freaking out right now. TikTok's going to get banned, I'm going to lose my livelihood and all that. It's like, I get it. It's a tough position to be in. And these platforms inevitably screw us. They screw everyone, not just the influencers, but also the viewers. And you don't realize that they're screwing you too. And so I kind of want to solve that problem. I know it's going to be hard. But here's the thing. I'm living it with my own life, though. That's the thing. So I'm living this out with my own life, and we'll see how it goes in my own content. But yeah. Oh, man. Oh. Amugak. How have you been, man? How have you been? DJ Gold. Okay. DJ Goldie, and yeah. I don't know if I have much more in me, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat, but I might have to end this one early. And then I'll probably have to come on later this week. There's a podcast episode that I've been putting off, editing. I don't know. This editing stuff, it's cool when I'm feeling it. It's not cool when I'm not. And so, like, I probably should just start it tonight, but I got to start my taxes anyways and finish those. I don't think those are going to be that hard. But, yeah, got a lot going on. If you guys want on YouTube, want on Twitch, for on TikTok, I don't know. I think I'm going to call it quits. Everyone, have a good night. Have a good night. I don't have it today. I'm trying. But enjoy the week. I'm probably going to be on later this week. I think Thursdays. I'm going to try to be consistent with Thursdays. And that's going to be like, you guys can feel free to like call in and stuff then, and we can just talk whatever. It might just be only TikTok. I haven't quite decided on YouTube and Twitch yet and how to get you guys involved. But yeah, otherwise, have a good rest of your week. Enjoy tomorrow, I guess. Make sure you get your taxes done, or at least file an extension. Yeah, I'm going to be more active on YouTube. So you should be seeing more videos coming out of there. And yeah, have a good night, everyone. Have a good night. Bye. All right, YouTube, Twitch, you guys, I'll give you guys a little more extra. Oh, man. It's just like, this is why I like not having a schedule, because it's like I can just let my energy guide me in when to do certain things. Or like if things come up, I don't have to worry about like, oh, I actually have to be on a live stream. I don't understand that kind of life where you have to actually like, you feel compelled to like put everything aside for content. Which, I mean, I get it. If you have an idea and you're inspired, go do it. But like this whole like your life revolves around the content stuff, I don't think that'll ever be me. But I always have to constantly remind myself, otherwise I'm going to get too plugged in. It's like, this is like a whole cat and mouse game going on. You just have to make sure you're still in control. And so otherwise though, have a good night, everyone. Enjoy the replay. I hope. Bye. Let me just end it. Bye.